Hi everyone, let's talk about the next steps of your grid drawing. You are at the step where you've traced your composition. You have traced over your drawing, so you put that in the different sections. You are ready to transfer it to your final paper. The final paper you're using is called Bristol paper. It's smooth on both sides, a little bit thicker than regular paper, really nice to use with a variety of materials. You're going to tape, with one piece of tape works. One piece, tape your drawing onto the white paper. The reason that I'm tilting it is because if possible, I would like to have a white border around the whole thing when I'm done. So I do have a little white around every side right now. So I'm gonna tape it right there. If you can't, it's not a huge deal. Don't worry too much about it. Tape it down. Now our step is called transferring. So you are going to be using transfer paper. This is tracing paper because you traced with it. This is transfer paper because you are transferring your final your drawing to your final paper with it. It comes in different colors. I have blue. It's very chalky on one side. That dark side is the side that you want to have down. So dark side down. You want that chalk down. Slide it underneath, like so. Now, this stuff is awesome. Wherever you press, you are going to get a chalk line. So turn your page around when you trace. So everywhere I've pressed down, leaves a nice chalk line. It does erase, so don't worry if it smudges. So after you marker with it, you are going to erase it all. So don't worry if it's showing. Oops. So anywhere that you have a straight line, you should be using a ruler. So I'm gonna line it up, go right on top. Oh, I should mention, you're actually using a colored pencil for this, a Prismacolor, because the tip is softer. You do not want to use a pen or something really sharp because it's going to leave indents. So you are just going to go over everything and trace. Same with the circle tracers. Make sure you're using the correct one, like so. You took time to make a really nice, accurate drawing, so continue to trace over accurately as well. So the next time you'll see it, I will have this completely transferred over. Okay, next step here. I have just transferred my image using the blue transfer paper onto my final paper, which was called Bristol paper. Now it's time to start outlining it in marker. For this project, we are using something called a Micron brand pen. 05 is the size. You can also find the size on the cap, but if you are sharing materials with people sometimes, can't always trust the cap. So if you're using these in the future, I usually look for the size right here. And 05 is a nice, medium size. Works really well for this. This brand is awesome because they do not bleed the way that a Sharpie does. When you are outlining all of this, your main goal is to do a single smooth line on everything. There's no sketchy lines. There's no little tails left over, and it should be very accurate on the line. The tools that you're going to want to use: ruler again, circle tracer. I'm going to hold the ruler tight so it doesn't slide. Get it right on that line. You should be doing this very accurately. So starting and ending where you're supposed to. You're not going too far or too short. When I do this, when I'm done, I'm not sliding it around. I'm gonna try to pick it up if I can, so it does not smudge my line. So instead of sliding it, try to pick it right up. So I'm going to continue on doing my large shapes first. That is how I like to start. Outlining the largest shapes. Go on to any tracer you might need to use. And sometimes there's been a tiny bit of movement when you transferred, and that's okay, we'll fix it. So if you see right here, that blue line is very subtly off the tracer, but that's okay because I can make up for that when I outline the rest of it. So I'm gonna go through, I'm going to outline all of this neatly, one single line, no sketchy lines, no tails, incredibly accurate. It should be exactly like your drawing. And I will see you back here shortly. All right, back for the next step. Here's where we start talking about your colored pencil and adding that on. For your project, you are choosing an analogous color scheme, which means 5 in a row. I have chosen to do violet, magenta, red, orange, orange. So that's these 5 in a row. The reason you're choosing an analogous color scheme is because they fade nicely together since they're next to each other on the color wheel. You're gonna fill this out, just quickly fill that in. They don't have to be shaded dark to light, just to get an idea that you can refer back to. When you are adding your colored pencil, you are combining so many colors, which could end up being very busy, but you're going to help that by breaking up each area and choosing a certain grouping of those colors for each part. So for instance, on this example, I use the same 2 major colors for all of the leafy stuff. So I used a green and an aqua for most of the leafy stuff here, with little hints of blue in as a shadow. On the pot here, I added the blue and violet blue and cyan as the main colors, so each thing looks separate even though we're using a lot of different colorations on here. So what I'm thinking is, I am thinking for the ice cream, this part, the top part that's dripping with the sprinkles, I want to do that so it looks mainly magenta with hints of purple. I think I'm going to make the sprinkles pop out by using just orange. In tiny areas like this, don't worry about fading 2 colors because that's very small. For the ice cream part itself, I can do possibly just plain violet with a little red. We'll see what combination I come up with, but each grouping should be a separate combination of colors so everything doesn't look muddled together, so things separate from each other. So to do this, you are going to be fading colors into the other colors. To quickly review how to do that, if this is one of your areas, you would start by pressing harder on one side, so adding getting it dark on the side using a lot of pressure neatly, and then slowly lifting up as you move away. So I'm going to go full range here. I'm going to go very dark all the way over to very, very light on this side. Okay, so I have dark to light. Then come in with your second color, opposite direction. You're going to do the opposite now. Dark on this side, fading to light. You are overlapping that first color so they look blended. Now, if I were to just stop right here, that does not look faded. You need to make sure that your dark to light extends far enough over that it actually looks like it's fading into the next one. So I'm continuing to press really light. I'm pressing about that dark, so light right there. And then I'm gonna take it over pretty far. So I had dark to light this way, and then I went dark to light that way to make them blend together. What that looks like on here, I'm going to choose a side to be the dark. So I'm going to take my violet and I am shading it dark on the one side, and I am fading it very smoothly to light down here. Then second color comes in. Opposite direction, dark on this side. And then I work my way forward, going light on this side. Turn your page as you have to. This little small area. Make sure you keep your pencil nice and sharp. And you are gradually lifting up. Even if I stopped there, I think it still looks almost like a line. So I'm going to carry that tiny bit further just to really get that fade. Now this was the edge of the ice cream. That's still ice cream, so I'm still using this combination of colors to fill in the parts of my ice cream. So fading neatly, dark on one side, going to light, and then going the opposite way. I'm going to take a break while I shade in a little bit more of this, and I will see you again in a minute. All right, back again to show you what I'm thinking. So I got this part done for my ice cream, the sprinkles. I chose the magenta and violet, orange sprinkles. Now for the ice cream here that's not dripping, I'm thinking the violet, and I'm gonna go back and add a little red. And then to make the wood stick stand out better, I'm gonna really make that pop by using orange. Okay, fading dark to light. And then there's a color I have not used yet. If I use my red with my violet here, that leaves my red orange. And that is going to go here with my orange. So I'll have that combination. And then later on, we will talk about how to choose a color scheme for your background, because we don't want that to blend in too much either. All right, so you get started on that in class. Just make sure that you are carefully choosing where to put what colors. All right, just want to show you real quick the final result here, how I use these 5 analogous colors in my artwork. I used violet magenta for the dripping ice cream. Then I did a combination of violet and red for this portion of the ice cream here, so it looked different. I can't say I'm too happy with my choice of colors for the popsicle stick. I ran into some problems with my background. So I actually started by doing red, red, orange, and then ended up adding in magenta and violet to try to get it to pop off of the background a little bit better. In my background, I used mainly red and orange. So 5 colors, using them to separate the different parts. And you can see all that dripping ice cream was the same 2 colors. All of this part was the same. It doesn't matter which section it ends up in, it's still going to be broken up the same way. Here is one more example of how to separate by color. You can see in here that the range used was blue, cyan, aqua, green, and yellow green. The rocks here are separated by using green and yellow green. You've got aqua with some blue on it, and so each part is separated by a different color grouping out of the 5 that you chose.